podcast. This is Spork, and that is Fork. We are Grandpa, Al, and Peter. Welcome back. It's been a bit. Happy New Year to those who celebrate. Happy Christmas to those who celebrate, because I think the last episode was before Christmas and New Year's.
Happy New Year, Hanukkah, and all
Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, all of them. All happy holidays to anyone who celebrates. If you don't, I hope you just had a good time. Good few weeks. We got a couple things to talk about. One will be, I want to bring an update on, I believe I said I was going to give updates regarding my skin issues and my medicine. I am currently in progress. I'm waiting for a phone call so that I can take the next step. I've been approved. I'm like 95% sure I've been approved because I was given an ambassador, a nurse ambassador who I go to for help and whatnot regarding this medication. And I'm waiting to get a call regarding mailing the shots to me and then taking the steps from there. But if I don't get a call, then I have to call my nurse. But I'm in the process, which is great. Yep. So that's a small update. And the next episode, hopefully I'll have either taking the shot or in process of it, and I can give more details on it.
Yeah, that's a good lead, because that's all in the process of getting older.
Yeah. So with that, I want to segue to your first topic, which is what?
Don't Let the Old Man In, which is also a song by Willie Nelson. Just want to say briefly that age is just a number. You could be 30 years old and feel like you're 75. You could be 75 and feel like you're 30. It depends what is going on in your body and what is going on in your head. And like in your case, the skin is the largest organ in your body. What is happening to your skin? All this affects what people say is our age. Birth date is just, again, an accounting of years that have gone by. One of my friends says he's 88. I always say to him, he was my idol. He'd be out there on the golf course until he broke his hip. And he says, I'm his idol because I by myself, and because he's still married and I'm not. My wife passed away. He says I'm his idol because I take care of myself. So with that in mind, I'd just like to talk about a few things, because age is just a number. No matter what your age might be, you have to know your limitations, because if you extend yourself too far, and it's good to extend yourself, you can cause damages. It would be like taking your car in a 50-mile-an-hour zone and running it 100 miles an hour for a half an hour. You have to know the limitations of what you are doing. Sickness and health will make you feel older. Taking care of yourself makes you feel younger. The problem is that when all of a sudden, like a car, you break down and you get sickness or a problem with your health, that affects really how you feel. In my case, I have problems, but I try not to let the old man in. I get up. Sometimes I don't want to get out of bed, but I get out of bed. I do what I have to do. I wrote this note to somebody who's very close to me, who keeps telling me what I should do out of concern and love. But it's also sometimes annoying. Let me paraphrase. When I played basketball, I wanted to take the last shot. When I played baseball, I wanted to make the winning hit. I always believed that I was one of the smartest people in the room and loved to make decisions for myself and other people. I had the love and friendship of a wonderful woman for 42 years, but all the above is gone. But you know what? I still am Superman. I get up each morning and I do for myself physically and emotionally, even when I wonder why I should continue to do so. I push on. I try not to let the old man in. Unfortunately, some days the old man is at the door and he's knocking very hard. And my body is breaking down. My memory can be a challenge at times, but I still push through. And on my bucket list is to get along with family and friends, not to become crotchety, not to dwell on what's wrong with me. And that's what I hope people will do when I say, don't let the old man in. Don't dwell on what's wrong. Be thankful with what is right. And I don't mean to preach, but I want to be constructive. It's important, when somebody gets up and they feel like they're gonna have a bad day. Well, they may have a bad day, but think positive and try to have a good day. Try not to get into arguments with people, because right or wrong, this affects how you feel. It affects your health. It affects what your age number might be, and it lingers on with you. So it's very important with the new year that when you make your New Year's resolution, that you try to be patient with people. Not everybody can be your friend. And certainly, again, you may not be the smartest person in the room, but certainly you're not the least smartest, and you should get a compromise. If you can't compromise with somebody as to what is being said and it's going to affect your health, then walk away and don't discuss it anymore. Aggravation can be a very, very age-long process. If you're aggravated, whether it's over a girlfriend, a wife, or business, it affects your health. And the whole important thing is never to give up. But as I said in the beginning, know your limitations. Example, I have some nice neighbors. Now I'm 78, and for 78, I'm in decent shape, although I have illnesses. And they'll say to me, "Oh, come on, let's go. You want to come on? I'll teach you how to play pickleball." Now, I know that my head says, let's go play pickleball. Pickleball's a new sport, people. It's, as a matter of fact, Tom Brady just bought a pickleball team.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
A professional pickleball team. And I know what would happen. My head would say, go after a ball. My legs would stay in one spot, and I could wind up probably hurting myself. So one has to know his limitations. So try to do new things, but again, know your limitations. And basically, that's all I have to say for those of us out there who, whether you're 20 or 30 or 40 or my age, age is just the number. Again, I hear kids who, I call them kids, they're people in their 30s, grumpy, arguing all the time. They come off the golf course and they're pissed off because they didn't break 80. Well, they should just look up in the sky and say, wow, what a beautiful day. I'm with my friends. They don't appreciate that they're living in paradise in Florida as far as most of the weather is concerned. Politically, it's a shithole, but they're living in paradise. And the final note is appreciate what you have. We had a group of golfers. One was 88, and one was 80, and two of us 78. Two of us are 78 who are remaining have illnesses, but we push on. One who's 80 moved away. The other one who's 88 broke his hip. And we had called ourselves the final four. So we're down to the final two. And we got to protect that final two. So if you're with your friends, and no matter what your age is, appreciate it. Whether you're going out to a bar, and if you're hugging or kissing your wife or kissing your girlfriend, remember, I don't want to make someone feel sad or anything, but every day is a blessing. And I'm not religious. Believe me, I'm not religious, but every day is a blessing. You don't know what the last kiss will be or the last hug. So make every year of your life worthwhile, and don't complain about your age, and don't complain about your situations, because situations will get better if you want it to be better, and situations will get worse. It's all part of the plan. And if you get aggravated, it will affect your numerical age. So everybody out there, for the new year, this is my New Year's wish. Be healthy, happy, and don't let the old man in.
I like it. That's good. I appreciate that and I respect that. To just add a little addendum to it on my end, being as young as I am and knowing that a lot of people my age are nihilistically they're nihilistic. And everyone, there's not a ton to look forward to at my age when there's poor jobs, poor housing, and all this other stuff. And I would say, rather than trying to just be happy, I would say try to laugh at one thing a day, whatever it is, even if it's a bird being stupid in the grass, or if you find it adorably cute that a stray cat walked by and you thought it was funny enough to laugh. I think find a reason to laugh at least once a day, just once. And I think that alone will help. And I think that alone is a wonderful thing. And yeah, I agree with a lot of what you were saying in terms of being mindful of what you have. And I don't think it's necessarily sad to recognize that every day could be the last with someone. I think we've been trying to tell people that for years, for decades. You don't have to live like you're going to die tomorrow, but you need to recognize that you could, and maybe not take things so seriously. Like, don't get upset that you didn't crack 80. You'll get it. It'll happen. I remember when you used to tell me you were hitting 90s and 80s, and you were hitting 90s, but before that you were hitting triple digits, and you were like, oh, I'll never get to 90. And then you hit 90, and then you had to take a break because of whatever, and then you went back up to like 100 or 110 or something like that, and you were like, oh, I'll never get back down, and then you did. So it'll happen. Don't take things so seriously. No matter how serious they are, you can still find a reason to smile or laugh or something. It doesn't even have to be related to that. It can be the dog or the cat or the bird or the sky. You look at the clouds for 5 minutes and you see a cloud that looks like a duck and you thought it was funny. But finding a reason to laugh once a day, I think, is a beautiful form of medicine that we could all learn from.
Because it affects your age when you can't laugh and smile.
I agree. And I think it also, like, without getting too heady about it, it affects a lot of other stuff. If you're super negative, you're going to make decisions that are based around that negativity. So you're going to make decisions that are not for your best interest because you're already in a negative mindset. So being positive or working towards positivity, because I think there are people with forms of mental health issues and physical issues that they can't get past, or they're struggling to get past. The intention is better than nothing. The intention to heal, the intention or the effort to work towards positivity, taking that one less comment about yourself away, or putting down the Instagram for an extra hour because you tend to doom scroll and get upset. The intention, you don't have to get it that day, but the intention alone speaks volumes more than doing nothing. So I think any form of effort and energy towards positivity, love, and light for yourself is wonderful. And I think it does significantly help your standing of life. So
Yeah, it's also important to know that when you're with people and they're aggravating you by what they're saying, remember, you don't let people talk and say, well, blah 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 blah. It's like, don't let them piss on your feet and tell you it's raining.
Yeah, by all means, set your boundaries, keep your shit up, and don't, just because you're happy doesn't mean you have to let people walk over you.
Right.
You may have to sacrifice some people for your happiness. That's what it is. If that's what makes you happy, do it.
That's right.
Not everyone's meant to live with you your whole life. So,
family
and then,
and friends included.
right. And then
Yeah.
I would also add the idea of death as, like, specifically in our society, we tend to taboo death. So I think having more conversations about death and normalizing it would help a lot as well. Because I think there's a lot of people that are afraid of dying or feel sad when their loved ones die. But if you look at it from a different lens, other than leaving, you can look at it as something to be cherished and something that's beautiful and a form of evolution or life. I like to think of death as an extension of life, not the alternative or the other side of the coin. It's an extension. It's the next level of the game, right? That's what I like to look at.
Yeah, that's why when they say the average age now is for a male is 76, and I'm 78, and I have illnesses, I say to myself, look, I'm not religious. All I want to do, if I pass away and there's a heaven, be with my wife, and I hope there's a good Chinese and Italian restaurant up there.
Oh, there will be. Don't you worry. There will be. They're waiting for you. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're holding the door open for you. Yeah,
So,
no, I get that. I understand.
okay, so you have something on a more serious note to talk about, right?
Mine is more serious and more ranty. So before I get into that, I would like to advise anyone who is listening to subscribe and follow and share and do whatever the hell you want to do, so I don't have to do this at the end. Share, subscribe, comment, whatever. If you want to comment, if you're watching on YouTube, comment something you want us to talk about. Or if you want to hop on with us, you can join the Zoom call and we can do a podcast together. If you know me, you can contact me through whatever means you know me by. If you know him, you can contact him through whatever means you know him by. And that's about it. Yeah. And I hope you guys are doing good. So now, next topic, Andrew Tate, stupid ass motherfucker.
Who's that? Andrew Tate?
Tate, not Taint like the balls, but Tate, T-A-T-E.
Okay.
In short, he is a wow, I can't shorten it. He's a guy who got popular through controversy. Same method as Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Just controversy. The difference is he adheres to that sort of far alt-right, like Christian fascist, heavy conservative, very obsolete, outdated mindset of men, which is toxic masculinity, and like women are not only do they belong in the kitchen, but they're less than men, like in every sense, mentally, physically, everything, and that they're slower. And that's why someone like Andrew Tate needs to have four wives or three wives and four kids, which he apparently does right now, because he's trying to spread his seed. And if women could just do it better, he would do it more with one woman.
In the United States, he has 3 or 4 wives.
I don't know where they are. He's not a U.S.
Oh,
citizen. He might be like a dual citizenship, but he's from Europe.
okay.
But he got popular. He got popular for making these types of rhetorics and then having a podcast where he just spews more of this crap. And there's another YouTuber or media presence person named Sneako. Sneak, like you're sneaking with an O at the end. Same concept, same idea. The only difference is this guy has a podcast where he specifically will, it's him and like 3 or 4 dudes, and then he brings on women specifically to just bully the hell out of them. And he specifically brings on either like women that are just sharing opinions and he knows how to manipulate the conversation to make them look stupid, or women that will prove his argument right. He's not actively trying to have a conversation. He's just trying to push his rhetoric even further.
So he's a narcissist.
Oh, in every sense of the word. So, and for reference, these two are sort of the Gen Z branded, like they're the Gen Z Ben Shapiro's. So Ben Shapiro would be more of like a millennials group. These are the Gen Z ones. And so I find it, so it's problematic and I find it horribly problematic. But the thing that I think I find most aggravating, which I saw recently. So side quest real quick. He was arrested recently for what was claimed to be human trafficking for the second time. But I believe it was in reality meant to be focused on money laundering. And he got all of his cars seized. He had like 33 cars or something, and a mansion in Romania. And all of it got like millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff seized because they're going to see whether that was bought with laundered money or real money. But people are saying that he has built this personality purely for the views and purely for the community building. And now that he's built his community, he's now going to go back to being a very religiously faith-based man who loves Allah and really prays a lot and is a good man. And people claim that all of this was an act so that he can get his community and he can make a lot of money. And now that he has his money and his community, he can do whatever the hell he wants with it. I find that aggressively problematic because, and I find it disgusting because the fact that it's still working. The reason I say it's still working is because I consider it the Logan and Jake Paul template, because that's what Logan and Jake Paul did. Controversy after controversy, they chose the boldest and most aggressive comments. And as long as they weren't making threats towards people and they weren't doing anything horribly illegal, they just kept going. And you just steamroll. And as long as you steamroll, there is a group of people that will follow you, especially in America. There is a group of people that will follow you. And as long as you continue and you sort of wrap it around a nugget of truth, people will follow you. And people who are not educated enough will support you. And so, like, for example, the reason why Andrew Tate got so popular is because he started off doing what a bunch of other people, these types of men like to do, like like Sneako, like Andrew Tate, like Ben Shapiro. They like to claim that men are the oppressed in society, that women are too powerful, and that that men's feelings are not discussed about. Now, and they go into men's suicide rates. 1 in 3 men are by the age of 21 still virgins, while women are not virgins by like 16, and all this other information and data that I couldn't tell you if it's true or not. But they sort of pan heavily on this, on the like woe is men idea. Now, there are certain things that are true. A man is killing himself every 60 seconds due to suicide. Like, mental health issues within men is aggressively rampant, and men are not taught to express or handle their emotions the same way that women get to, and which is a result in men's suicide. Those things are true, but the problem is they will take a nugget of truth like that and then encapsulate it with a lot of misogyny or racism or homophobia or other problems. And so they'll say something like, men don't get to describe or express themselves in the home because the woman is constantly telling him he needs to be a certain way. Let a man be a man. Let him do it. And she needs to stay in the kitchen and make him a sandwich so that he can be the man he really needs to be, so that she can have her lane and he can have his lane. And so the lines get very quickly blurred for people who don't understand or don't know any better. A good example is a lot of young boys, a lot of young guys who are lost and don't have father figures to teach them, or have a father, but they're not good enough to teach them anything that's worth salt. So, and the media presence is also just more present in their life than their parents. So they tend to gravitate towards what they're consuming and base that off their identity. And
Or they
they
go
start,
to grandpa.
well, right, they go to their grandfather, or they go on their own, right? They use life as an experience, whatever. But there's a lot of kids that look for help because they can't get it from their parents or their family. And so the internet, because it's all accessible, has good information, but that good information is buried by a lot of garbage. And so people like Andrew Tate will encapsulate single points of good information around a mound of garbage. Same thing with Sneeko. They claim to be fighting for men's mental health and men's like right towards whatever bullcrap. But in the process is bullying and beating down verbally women for the sake of nothing other than to prove his own point. And the reason they've gotten popular is the Logan Paul and Jake Paul method. Controversy, 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 controversy. The thing that I absolutely abhor is the fact that, sadly, Andrew Tate and Sneeko and people like them will remain in popularity and will remain in wealth, because once you get to a certain wealth, you can maintain that wealth. As long as you're relatively smart with it, once you get to a certain level of wealth, especially when you can be able to cross countries like Andrew Tate, who goes to America, also Romania and anywhere else, you could just do whatever the hell you want, and your presence will continue to grow because you do not have a focus on anything else. You can do whatever the hell you want because you've got money going elsewhere. So, and I don't like the fact that these people can do so much wrong, get proven to be doing so much wrong, but because there are just too many people that are blinded and just love, or because they align with that, because they're that bad as well, these guys will continue to be forgiven, like Jake and Logan Paul. Jake and Logan Paul have not lightened up at all. Logan is currently in a scam for a crypto app that he made. He hired like 2 or 3 criminals, like indicted criminals.
Supposedly.
No, they're actual criminals. Like they've been in jail.
I'm saying supposedly a scam, not definitely, supposedly.
Oh, yeah. The app is supposedly a scam because it's not proven, but
Yes.
there's a whole like YouTube video, 3-part series by a guy named CoffeeZilla, who goes into what Logan Paul did. He made some like NFT app game thing where it claims you can make more money than you put into it as long as you play the game, which is just the definition of a scam. Anytime anyone says you can get more money than you put into it, you're getting scammed.
You are getting scammed.
Right. But so that's what I'm saying. And so the app didn't work on launch. There's people who lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. The people who built or worked on the app together, there's one guy that's a serial scammer. Like he's this guy, Jake the King or something like that. He has been a part of like a bunch of previous NFT scams, like rug pulls. And
NFTs are non-fungible tokens, for those of you
non-fungible tokens. They're digital pictures and digital videos. That's all they are. People claim to have copyrights over them, and there's ways around that. So NFTs are the dumbest things on the earth. But millions of dollars was pulled from the game because the creators took money and they sold it and dipped out. And a whole bunch of shit, right? Whatever. I don't need to go into that bit.
Now,
But
you said Tate also was doing white slavery?
No, he was doing human trafficking. It's alleged human trafficking. So he was arrested once for human trafficking and they found no evidence. They arrested him again like a week and a half ago for human trafficking and money laundering. Now, I don't know what the whole human trafficking thing, what the result of that was. I know that they seized all of his assets for money laundering and to see if that money was generated actually or through laundering. And I guess the laundering ties into the trafficking because two and two together, right?
Peter, so what makes him different from these religious people who are on TV or go to these arenas and they're saying prayers and they're going around raising millions and millions of dollars each year and living the high life, saying that they are, religious people, you should listen to them, and people fall down and follow every word they say.
There's no difference. They're just the old brand. They're just the old version. It's like looking at JCPenney versus Walmart, or sorry, JCPenney versus Kohl's. Same store, just 30 years apart, different company, different brand, but same deal, same concept. Those guys are my favorite because these are men that are in megadomes. They're mega domes, and they claim to be of God and of whatever and live humbly and give, and yet they have a private jet and two homes and millions of dollars in cars and assets, and all of a sudden the money that like they won't open their doors to certain people and garbage. There's a video recently of some guy, he was preaching to his church and he's talking about how he has a Rolex on and he's got $50,000 shoes or something crazy like that on, and he's showing off in front of the church that he's wearing them. He's got his nice expensive Rolex and his like ridiculously expensive shoes. Not 50,000, that was an exaggeration, but like shoes that no one buys, that are wildly expensive. And then he talks about his car that's very expensive and somehow manages to twist it into a way that's like, I don't want these things. I was just given them because I am of godly nature. Like garbage. It's no different than Andrew Tate and all these people in that they're taking a nugget of truth and twisting it around people who believe are finding some form of salvation, whether it's through a spiritual religious deity or through a man who was trying to play a father figure. Either way, there's no difference in my book. And that's why I've always had I will always say this, that religions themselves may not be the problem necessarily, right? Like the general foundations of them, living humbly or being kind to your neighbors, giving, trying to find oneself, those concepts. But when you discuss the people inside these churches, mosques, and temples, when you discuss the organizations around them, when you discuss how many times these books have been edited, when you discuss some of the dialect that was used to write these things, now we have a problem. Now we have a big problem. But a lot of people don't want to talk about that because they go, oh, well, no, but that's not what they meant. Well, that's if the whole point of interpretation is if the whole point is that you're interpreting, then why can't I interpret it this way? What makes your interpretation more valid than mine? So it's an entire rabbit hole worth of garbage. To swing it back to Andrew Tate and all of them. Aggressive people steamrolling through society by being as controversial as possible and doing not even the Jake Paul method, doing the Kim Kardashian method. All press is good press. Because look at the Kardashians now. Back when they were doing problem after problem after problem, as long as they spun it right, and as long as they did a couple of things right, they're set up. Billionaires. Multiple people in that family are billionaires now. They will not have to do a damn thing.
Hollywood, Peter. All press is good press.
Right, but that's my point, is there's, you have to be able to withstand and continue to do that kind of thing. And it takes a very special sociopath to achieve that level of Jake Paul, Kardashian, grit and determination. Because there's plenty of people that you can achieve that status or better status through other means. You don't have to do it through controversy. It may be harder. It may not be as easy. It may not be the fast track, but God, oh my God. All right, we got to pause for a minute because Zoom's going to run out of time. We're going to chop it real quick. Deuce. And we're back. Yeah. Jake Logan Paul followed the Kardashian method. Kardashians did it that way. I don't know who's before Kardashian because that's way past my time. But my overall thing is lead with love. And, we can sit here and gossip and talk smack about these guys all day. For me, it's a heavy, heavy thing to look at them, see how much damage they're doing, and that they just keep going. And it's all for the money. It's all strictly for the money. There is no actual benefit. Or they're delusional and they think that they're actually doing something beneficial for society. But either way, it sucks. It sucks hard.
I have a different opinion on some of this.
What?
I believe that as long as you're not breaking the law and you're not hurting anybody, the Kardashians, I really, I'm not a fan of theirs, but I look at them and I say, wow, they've really achieved wealth and fame, and they haven't broken the law. And
that you know of.
That I know of. And when I went to college and I was getting my master's in business, my goal would have been to do something as good as the Kardashians and not break the law.
Because don't forget, their father was a award-winning lawyer.
That's right. And as far as the Pauls are concerned, they've
had an ugly amount of problems with legal issues and evading legal issues and starting legal issues and what have you.
Yeah. So as long as you don't break the law, I'm okay with assuming wealth. Like you said, you know what my thing is with, I once wrote an article called The God Factor, and this has to apply to people who are narcissists and who talk and they get followings, that man makes religion, and a person who is a religious leader has followers and they're his sheep, and he can direct the sheep any way he wants once he captures their mind, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's a difficult time. It's a difficult time that we live in when it comes to media because of how fast media has progressed. There
Yeah.
is there are swamps of people, and I say swamps with intention, of people who lack media literacy. Not even like complex. You don't need to know what Web3 is. You don't need to know what VR and NFTs are. Just how to deduce a reliable news website based off of what's on the web page, as well as reliable media presence based off of context clues and common sense that you are taught. And just things in general, like being able to watch a TikTok that someone's trying to sell you this knife and know that it's a scam. Or if that you think it's not a scam, knowing how to do the research to check if it is a scam. But there are so many people out there that just are so unaware. And I've been fortunate enough. I went to college for media. And whether that's going to be a bountiful job opportunity or not, we're working at it. But in terms of the media sphere, I don't ever have to worry, at least currently, about falling into the hands of like Andrew Tate, because I'm believing that I'm supporting men's mental health. Now, the way you support men's mental health is by not pushing agendas that force men to be something that they're not. The way you help them is providing a supportive foundation to let them do whatever they want, whether that's be feminine, be masculine, cut trees down, dance at a rollerblade rink, go bowling, play video games, be a chef, be a lawyer, whatever it is. Foundational support for all of it, and stop telling people how to live, men and women, but like specifically men because that's pertinent to this conversation.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of ways as far as men and women are concerned to appeal to them, as far as business is concerned, or to ignore them. There was a line in Peaky Blinders, which is
hold on, wait, which season?
Season 4.
Okay. Oh, wait, which episode?
Episode 1.
Okay, because I'm watching season 4 right now, and I'm on the last 2 episodes.
Yes, season 4, episode 1, and on season 4, episode 1, this woman who is putting together a women's league. She works, in the plants, and putting together a women's union, comes and says, just like in the United States right now, there's an inordinate amount of pay between men and women. And the big boss says, okay, how much is the difference? And it's, Great Britain. She says, the men are getting paid 10 shillings more for the same job. And she says, and if we don't get the 10 shillings, basically, and equal pay, then I'm going to call a strike. And it's around Christmas time. And the big boss says, okay, I'll give you a 5 shilling raise and take away 5 shillings from the men. Let's see how you deal with it. So basically, in all countries, and this was in the I believe 1920s.
Yeah,
Uh,
something along there.
in all countries, whether it's now or whatever, uh, people like Andrew Tate and all these people, they play on words. And if you don't listen to what is said, and you don't grasp what the intent is, there could be trouble. Like with her, if she didn't listen, she'd say, "Oh, good, I got a five shilling raise for my people." Yeah, now she's going to have to deal with all the men around her who have families and kids, he says, that are going to lose 5 shillings. So we got to watch out for plays on words also.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's overall a media literacy problem. And I'm not going to sit here and blame each individual. No, it's a media literacy problem. It's an
Yeah.
educational problem. People
Right.
aren't taught how to maneuver through the media realm and what it means. And that's where it's at. And it's hard because consistently there is a demographic of people that will support Andrew Tate and Sneeko and
Mhm.
Logan Paul, meat riders and things like those types of people are very specific demographic. Very specific demographic. And those who support tend to have incomplete knowledge of the implications of it, right? Like, and I disagree with you in the idea of like, if you're doing, as long as it's within the bounds of legality, it's okay. I disagree because I know that the law is not set up fairly and that it is set up for those who are men, white, with money.
Okay.
Or those with money. And so therefore, if you're doing it within the law, I'm not saying do it outside of the law, but what I'm saying is there is an inherent problem no matter which way you go. So it is a problem. So it is a problem, period. I don't agree with, as long as it's within the law, that it's okay. Because like I just said, if it's in the, like, there are laws explicitly established to outright undermine poor people, minorities, people of color, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
A perfect example, which we can close on this, is Missouri just passed a law that if anyone is caught sleeping or living on state-owned property, you will be jailed for 15 days and fined $750. Now, who do you think sleeps and lives on state-owned property?
Yeah, the homeless.
Please tell me how they're paying $750. They're not. So one of two things happens. They have to move states, which in turn directly cleans up the city, quote unquote, or they get to put them in jail. And they
Yeah.
still get to clean up the city and put them away, which is what a lot of wealthy people want to do, is they want to just put homeless people in jail so that they're out of their sight and out of mind.
Mhm.
So just to further that, laws do not always equate to fairness. Why? There's no reason for that at all, especially in Missouri of all places.
I
So,
agree with you.
but with that, I want to circle it all the way back to don't get old. Don't let the old man in. We spoke about some nice things, some positive things, and some negative things. Find something to laugh about once a day, or something to smile about if you can't laugh. Half step is better than no step. Find
Good.
something to smile or laugh about, and don't take things so seriously. I think people lose the idea that you can change, you can start over, you can do things, because none of it, like your items, your materials can be replaced. They don't matter, you know? And so, you know, it, things don't ever have to be that serious, ever, ever. It never has to be that serious, depending on how accepting and broad you're willing to like perceptively agree with. So with that, I hope you all are having a wonderful new year if you celebrate and if you do that kind of thing.
I agree.
And we will see you in the next one. Tell us what you want to talk about. Otherwise, we will talk about something else.
Yeah, maybe something that's pertinent to your lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay, people, good to speak with you again. It's 2023. Remember, write 2023 if you're still writing checks.
Yeah, that's right. 2023, not 2022. I know that's going to be my problem for the next month. Oh, God. All right. Till the next one. Peace
Peace.
out.
Love you guys.